this is from yours truly. House rejects the censure of Delegate Stacy Plaskett over Epstein texts. The House defeated H. Resolution 888, introduced by Rep. Ralph Norman, Republican of South Carolina, which sought to censure Delegate Stacy Plaskett and remove her from the Intelligence Committee due to her 2019 text exchanges with Epstein, her constituent, during a Michael Cohen hearing. The vote failed 209 to 214 after 3 Republicans joined Democrats in opposition. The text revealed in recent Epstein estate documents involved Epstein suggesting questions to challenge Michael Cohen's testimony. Plaskett defended the outreach as a constituent engagement on local issues amid her anti-trafficking efforts, while critics decried it as a betrayal of trust. Unreal. And this is from Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yesterday, after 5 ridiculous months of fighting the White House and the Speaker to get Congress to finally vote to release the Epstein files, a deal was made to stop the censure of Stacy Plaskett, a Democrat delegate from the territory of the U.S. Virgin Islands, which would have also kicked her off the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence that oversees U.S. intelligence activities for texting with Epstein during an oversight committee hearing in 2019. You can't make this shit up. But they got her on camera. I mean, they've got her actions on camera. They don't have her actually like texting him zoomed in on the screen of her phone. They don't have it, that much on camera, but they've actually zoomed in on her, obviously paying attention to her phone, sending messages back and forth to some individual, which we ended up finding out is Jeffrey Epstein himself. Absolutely crazy. And it was during a hearing where she was asking Michael Cohen questions about Jeffrey Epstein. Absolutely crazy. I mean, if that doesn't get you censured from Congress, I don't know what would. Absolutely nothing, it would seem. All right, so Plaskett texted with Epstein as he advised her questions during the Michael Cohen hearing, knowing his convictions and record of R-word and trafficking girls and women. This was the reason for last night's censure resolution vote. What was the deal that was made? 3 Republicans crossed the aisle and voted with Democrats to stop the Plaskett censure resolution in a swap so that Democrats would not bring up the Cory Mills censure resolution for alleged physical assaults and threatening to release P-word on an ex-girlfriend and ethics violations and questionable military record. You, the American people, should be outraged by this against both parties. So I don't understand why then Cory Mills, why didn't he also vote to vote nay to not censure Rep Plaskett, because he wasn't one of the 3 Republicans who voted not to. So I don't know, maybe there's a good reason for that. Maybe because, just more fingers would be pointed toward his direction. And I don't know. But anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene is clearly very pissed off about this. And you should be asking many questions. For example, why does Plaskett, who is a non-voting delegate from a U.S. territory, serve on the House Intelligence Committee, Ways and Means and Budget Committee? I asked that the other day, and I was surprised. I didn't know that a delegate who, they vote for her from the Virgin Islands to represent them in Congress, but she can't vote on any legislation because the Virgin Islands is not a U.S. state. It's just a territory. So I thought it was basically just a ceremonial role where the delegates from Puerto Rico and from Guam and the Virgin Islands and I know I'm forgetting one. Marshall Islands. Isn't that the other one? I don't know, whatever. So I'm really surprised that they have the ability to get on actual committees, even though they can't vote on any legislation. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So anyway, those are very powerful, influential committees, and she can't even vote on the House floor. And Cory Mills serves on the House Armed Services Committee, Foreign Affairs, and subcommittees on intelligence. So why did both sides work together to stop both Plaskett and Mills' censure resolutions last night in order to protect both Plaskett and Mills? Members of Congress like me never ever received such protection and never will. Instead of working to pass legislation that supports policies you voted for, passing our appropriations bills, and solving real crisis issues like healthcare, Congress is trapped in the quicksand of the swamp with no intention of getting out. And yeah, I think she's absolutely correct on this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if those 3 Republicans, if they just stuck with their party and they voted to censure her, she would have been censured. I mean, that's how close they were. I think even if only 2, but they needed 3 to get it over the finish line, so they got 3. So anyway, I guess we'll just move on from that. Let me see. Okay, so from Nick Sordor, actually, we're not moving on just yet. We got this from Nick Sordor. Just in, Rep Nancy Mace Republican South Carolina will be moving to censure Rep Cory Mills today, per reports. Several Republican members are livid over alleged backroom deals that killed the censures of Ilhan, Omar, and Stacy Plaskett in order to protect Mills from investigation. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's post was 12 hours ago. Nick Sortor's was 11 hours ago. So I'm not sure if they actually did vote. I didn't see anything with regard to them actually voting whether or not to censure Cory Mills. So I don't believe that this has happened yet, but at the very least, I'll keep my eye on it, and definitely I'll update that tomorrow if they haven't yet, or even if they have. If they have, then I'll definitely talk about it tomorrow. So this is from Rep Nancy Mace herself. If you thought we were done with the letter to strip Cory Mills from his committees, think again. We're offering a privileged motion to censure Rep Cory Mills. When you're accused of assaulting women, profiting off federal contracts from your congressional seat, and inflating your military record, you have no business shaping America's defense policy. This isn't about party lines. It's about integrity. No more hiding behind the establishment to protect abusers and grifters. This is swamp behavior at its worst. Man, dude, they shouted out the show twice already. At the very beginning of the show, we already got swamp mentioned twice. But it's very real. That's why I called the show the swamp, because it is a swamp. Okay, so moving to Rep Anna Paulina Luna. I think this is the last one that we have with regard to this. So turn your comments on, Mills. You're saying there are no backroom deals. This is the second censure you've been wrapped up in, and once again, it was dropped, followed by a pressure campaign demanding members stop talking about it. I wonder why. Very interesting. You should also apologize. A referral to the Ethics Committee is where things go to die. The Republican Party does not support this kind of behavior, nor should we be silenced for calling it out. Stop bullshitting the American people and Florida residents. Get your crap together, not in Congress. And Anna Paulina Luna, she represents the district in St. Petersburg, which is my district. And so, I mean, she has like a more of a say than most, just because Mills, or not Mills, but Plaskett, no, not Plaskett. Who was it? I can't remember. I just mentioned one of them who's from Florida. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Never mind. That's in regard to Sheila McCormick. She's the rep in Florida I was thinking about. Okay, so forget that. Forget that last part. But still, she's a rep in Congress, and she's my rep. So there you go. That's why I decided to go with her post and not somebody else's. But all right, so let me see. So I got the rest of that. Yeah, so this is from Rep Cory Mills, and he posted this 6 hours ago. Yesterday, along with most of my colleagues, I voted to censure Democrat delegate Stacy Plaskett for being coached by Jeffrey Epstein through text messages during an anti-Trump committee hearing. So this is why he voted to censure, because if he voted not to, then it would give the argument that everyone else is making a lot more weight. But he could come back and say, well, I voted to censure her. What are you talking about? Backroom deals. I voted to censure her. I wanted her to be censured. You see my vote right there? So I see what he's doing. So no wonder he didn't vote no. Her conduct was unethical and warranted censure. I believe every one of my colleagues should have voted to censure her, and those who didn't should be confronted individually. Well, I think they will, and they're probably going to be heavily pressured to spill the beans and see if your name is wrapped up in it or not, which of course they're not going to. They're not going to rat on him. I'm sure they're not. Anyway, it has been made obvious to me that in recent months, Democrats have been using me as a political pawn. So with full transparency, my team and I fully expected that a vote to censure me would be brought to the floor yesterday. We prepared for it, but it never came, which surprised us just as much as anyone else. And let me be perfectly clear, there was no backroom deal, no negotiation, and no quid pro quo of any kind that would have forced the Democrats to stand down on that vote against me. Anyone pushing that narrative is just wrong. Okay, fine, you didn't literally have a backroom vote or a backroom discussion, backroom deal. No, but you probably did on some, I don't know, like some anonymous messaging app, maybe like through Telegram or some secret Discord or something. Who knows? But maybe not literally in a back room. You know how politicians like to, play around with their word games. So my focus is to defend America, Americans, and American interests remains unchanged. I did not and will not compromise my vote or my integrity to submit to the left's political games. So I don't know, man. It's either he said or she said. Depends on which side that you want to believe. I'm not so sure. I'm just here to talk about it. Just here to bring it up. And this is from the GOP, Jeffrey Epstein, as well as Stacy Plaskett. Is this a real image, GOP? Or is this, is it AI? Is it photoshopped? I mean, I'm not so sure. Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know, man. I think if I had to put my money on it, it might be AI. I don't know, though. I wouldn't think the GOP would AI that, though, but I don't know. What do I know? So this actually comes from RNC Research, which was what they were replying to. So Stacy Plaskett says she was texting with Epstein in a 2019 congressional hearing because he was just a constituent with concerns. Plaskett, but like many constituents, they text you about issues. CNN, you initiated the text exchange. He was a known sex offender. So hold on. I think I have the same one. Yeah, I have the same one. This one's a little bit longer. So I'm not sure what they cut 10 seconds out of that for some reason. So I'll just go with breaking 911. So it's the same interview. So let's play this.
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. So I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity,
please let me move forward.
Extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing.
Dude, he wasn't just a constituent that she was answering questions for. I mean, look, even if he's like an ultra wealthy constituent, yeah, fine, whatever. But this is different because the guy, she was sitting in a committee hearing and she was posing questions to the man sitting in the hot seat, Michael Cohen, and she was directly asking him questions about Jeffrey Epstein at the exact same time, or at least in the exact same session where she was texting with Jeffrey Epstein. He wasn't just some random constituent. He was the subject of the conversation. He was the absolute subject of the whole reason that they were in this committee hearing in the first place.
Moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes. And as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. I believe that Jeffrey...
Dude, like, it's like time and time again, man. Democrats are all wrapped up in Jeffrey Epstein. Republicans aren't. They're all Democrats that are wrapped up in all this shit. Which is hilarious that they keep demanding the release of the Epstein files. Okay, well, the more that gets released, or at least the more people dig through, the more damning it looks to Democrats, not Republicans. Everybody's been saying that for forever at this point.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.